Hey, what's going on, you guys? Today I'm going to be taking you step by step on how to make an interactive day trading tracker in Google Sheets. This is a tracker that will help automate the tracking of all of your trading. It has some really great capabilities that will provide really valuable insight to how well your trading is going and may even uncover some analytics that will help you to become a better trader as well. So before I take you guys step by step on how to make this day trading tracker in Google Sheets, I'm going to first talk about how it's used. So if you come down here, you're going to see that there's two different tabs on this spreadsheet. We have a recording tab and a dashboard tab. Let's take a look at the dashboard tab first. So here you can see our dashboard. Everything on this dashboard is going to be based off of the data on our recording tab, and it updates automatically. So when we're finished making this spreadsheet, you'll never have to manually input any data on this. This will all update automatically based off of the data we put on our recording tab. So you can see it's going to track things like our total profit, our average profit per trade, average profit per day, our wins, our losses, and it's going to show our win percentage. And here we just have some charts that are going to show things like how much we've made and how much we've lost. We have a monthly gain chart, so we can see how we've performed over different months, and we have a win percentage chart. It's just a good visualization to see how we've been performing. And then we have our days traded profit. So here we can see each day how much we've either made or lost. So it's a good way to see some outliers on days we've made a lot of money or days maybe we've lost money, like these 2 days right here. So let's jump back over to our recording tab. And on our recording tab, it looks like there's a lot going on, but it's really not that complicated. We have an area for our trades placed. We have an area for our daily profit and our days of the month. And then we have a couple metrics that track different things right here. So you can see we have our win amount total and our loss amount total. We can see our best trade and our worst trade. And then we just have one chart right here that's individual trade profitability. So this is just going to show each and every trade that we've placed, and it's going to update automatically just like our other charts. And you can see here we have each month's total. It's going to roll up to our total right here as well. So let's go ahead and show an example of how this works. So I'm going to zoom in to our trades placed area, and let's scroll down, and let's say that I placed 2 different trades on December 15th. So I'm going to come over here and type in 12/15/2021. Let's say I traded Bitcoin and I bought in at 40,000 and I sold at 41,000. And let's say that I bought 0.02 Bitcoins. And when I hit enter, you'll see that it automatically filled in my profit and whether that was a win or a loss. And let's go ahead and say we placed one more trade on this date. Let me go ahead and fix that. And let's say that I traded, AT&T. And I traded AT&T at 28.6 and sold at 28.9. And let's say that I bought 11 shares of this. When I hit enter, you'll see it fills in automatically again. So I made $3.30, and that's a win. And let me zoom out a little bit here. If we go to our daily profit, you'll see that the day we just traded is now showing up, and it's tallying both of these numbers right here that we just traded on this day. So it's showing our total profit on the day. And if we come over here, we traded on 12/15. So you can see right here, this is December 15th. It's showing each day of the year. You can see right here how much we made on December 15th. And our win amount total and loss amount total changed. Our individual trade profitability changed. So you can see right here is where we traded on this day. And our dashboard updated automatically based off this as well. So you can see these numbers are different. We now have 2 more wins on our trades. All of these charts are different as well. And you can see our win percentage went up as well as we placed 2 successful trades now. So let me go ahead and zoom back out. If you want to have the ability to download this day trading spreadsheet or any of my other spreadsheets, such as my portfolio tracker, dividend tracker, stock watch list, portfolio dashboard, or my cryptocurrency tracker, then you can head to my Patreon page at the link in the description. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the tutorial. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to come up here to the top left and title this tracker. And I'm going to title it Day Trade Tracker, so that's what it'll be saved under in Google Sheets. And now we're going to actually jump into the spreadsheet, and I'm going to merge these top cells here and give it an outer border, and we just want to give a title / a header area for this spreadsheet. And I'm just going to make it the name of my YouTube channel, then Day Trade Tracker. So Dividendology Day Trade Tracker. And let's go ahead and center this text, and then I'll play around with the font size as well to try to get it right, make it as large as possible. And now that we have this, let's go ahead and jump over here to the left, and we want to make our trades placed area. So I'm going to merge these cells right here, and we'll give it an outer border as well, and I'm just going to name it trades placed. And I'm going to do the same thing that I just did with that last one. Let's go ahead and center this text. First, I'm going to make these cells a little bit bigger, and I'm going to increase the font size as well. And I'm going to go ahead and give it outer borders as well. And okay, so now we're going to come below it, and we want to make an area to have the date, the symbol, the price we bought in at, the price we sold, we want our number of shares, and then we want to make a place for our profit and our win versus loss column. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in now. And okay, so now we have all the columns that we need. So I'm going to highlight these and give them borders as well. So now we have a place for our trades placed area. I'm just going to increase the size of these cells just a little bit. And I'm going to highlight these again and center them as well. And increase the font size maybe just a little bit. So now we're going to make our daily profit area. So we're going to do this right beside trades placed. So I'm going to do what I've been doing. I'm going to merge these cells here and title it daily profit. And let's go ahead and center this text and increase the font size as well. So that looks like it's a little too big. Let me back up, make it smaller. And now below this, we want our days traded column and we want a profit column. So we can see how much we made on each day of day trading. So now we're going to go ahead and do what we've been doing. We want to increase the font size of these. And let me get this spacing correct. And now we're just going to go ahead and give it outer borders as well. And let me go ahead and center this text as well, just like we have been doing. Okay, so now we have our trades placed and our daily profit area. So just a couple more things that we need to add. So first, in order to get all this on one spreadsheet, I'm going to highlight all these cells and insert more columns to the right of this spreadsheet. So when we scroll over here to the right, you can see now we have a lot more room to work with because we want to add a days of the month area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all these cells right here. It's going to be a lot. It's going to have to be up to about 31 or 32 so you can include each day of the month. And I'm just going to go ahead and title this days of the month. So I'm going to go ahead and give that an outer border. And now we're going to come here and we want to highlight these cells here and give this a border to where it surrounds the entire cell. Let me go ahead and add this title days of the month here. And we can center this text. And I'm actually going to bring it back over here to the left because if we center it, it's a little too far to the right for me right now. So I'm just going to leave it here for now. Let's go ahead and increase the font size. And now we need our monthly total column right here. So this is where it will total all of our month's gains. And now we're going to need a column for each day of the month. So we'll use our first formula. I'm just going to do a simple formula to help me to quickly put all the days of the month right here. And so you see when I drag this across, we're going to get each day of the month just from that simple formula we just made. I'm going to go ahead and play around with this and quickly reformat this so we have the correct amount of number of days in the month. And go ahead and fix these borders here to the way we had it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and scroll back. And let's continue making our days of the month area of our tracker. So now I'm going to go ahead and just list every month in this column right here. And if I drag it down, you can see that Google Sheets will automatically fill it in for us. So all I had to do was type in January right there and drag that down. I'm going to highlight this, and just like I've been doing, I'm going to highlight this whole area here. And I'm going to format this to where it'll give us borders for every single cell right here. And then I did it just a little too much, so I'm going to delete this part right here. We don't need this area. And then let me fix this bottom row to where it has a border on the bottom as well. Okay, so our days of the month area is starting to come together. You can see if I zoom out right here, we have our trades placed, our daily profit, and our days of the month area. So now let's go back to our trades placed, and I'm going to add borders right here so you can see where we can fill in our text for our trades placed. I'm going to do the same thing for my daily profit. I would suggest even scrolling down farther than I did. I'm just going to right there as an example. So if you think you're going to place more trades than the rows I just listed right there, then I would highly suggest just adding more borders lower down in your spreadsheet. So let me go ahead and zoom back in here. So let's go ahead and say that we want to place an example trade so we can start making the formulas in our spreadsheet. So I'm going to put in a date and a symbol. Let's say I trade Apple, and I bought in at about $114 and I sold at about $137. I put in the number of shares, and now we need our first formula to calculate our profit. So you can see simple formula I just put in to calculate profit, and this is great, but this is actually not the formula we need. So we want this formula to automatically fill in for us when we have put in our number of price, the price we bought in at, the price we sold, and the number of shares. You can see if I scroll down, it's going to say 0. We don't want anything to show up until we have placed a trade. So I'm going to do an if statement right here, and I'm going to put in a formula that's going to allow us to drag it all the way down, and then it will automatically update as we place trades. And I'll post some of these more complicated formulas in the description as well, but you can see right here what I'm doing. Essentially, it's going to leave all the cells blank until we've placed a trade, and then once we've done that, it is going to automatically calculate our profit. So if I drag that down, now when I place a trade, our profit will automatically be calculated. And we actually need to do something very similar with our win/loss column. So a win would be if we make a profit on a trade, and a loss would be if we don't make a profit. So I'm going to go ahead and put in another if statement here, and we want to say if we've placed a trade here, then we want it to automatically calculate if it was a win or a loss. And again, I'll place these formulas in the description below, so if you need to copy and paste, you can do that, or if you just prefer to rewind the video and see what the formulas were, you can kind of see what I'm doing. And okay, so now we have our win/loss column in. And if I drag this all the way down, you'll see they still all remain blank, but that's because I've only placed one trade. So that's how we want it. So now when we place our trades, our profit and our win-loss column will automatically show up. So I'm going to highlight all these cells now, and I'm going to center the text just to kind of make it look a little bit cleaner. And so now all I did is I just went ahead and jumped ahead and placed some examples of trades maybe we've placed just so we have some data to practice with. And I'm going to go ahead and place another one right here just so you can see what we've done. And let's say I traded Bitcoin on December 28th. And let me put in a price I bought in and price I sold at and a number of shares. And you can see that our profit and our win-loss automatically filled in. So we have our days traded area automated now to where everything will automatically fill in. All we have to do is fill in the date, our symbol, the price we bought and sold at, and the number of shares. So now we need to automate our daily profit area. So I'm going to use the unique formula here. And we want to highlight all the days that we've traded. And what this is going to do is it's going to combine days where we have maybe traded 2 or 3 times in the same day, and it's going to combine all those trades into one. So now we have each unique day that we traded in our days traded area. And I'm just going to come here and highlight these and mess with the font size a little bit. And now we want to make our profit. So this is going to be not the profit from each trade, but our daily profit. So we want to be able to combine days where we traded multiple times. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use another if statement here. And essentially what we're going to say is we want to combine any days where we traded multiple days and sum those values. So you can see, again, this will be a formula that I post in the description, but it's going to search for any of the days, like I said, where we did multiple trades, and I'm going to actually scroll down and select more days down here. So if we add more trades, that it'll automatically still update for us. But we want it to sum values where there's multiple trades in a day. And you can see when I hit enter, there we go, and it has automatically filled in. So I'm going to use that, and now we can see each day how much we made from trading on days that we actually placed day trades. And if I scroll down here, you're going to see that there's less columns filled in, but that's because there's some days, like I said, where we placed multiple trades in one day, and this is just going to show each day that we traded. So now we want to go ahead and jump back over to our days of the month area. And let's see, it looks like I need to reformat this. I think I slightly messed this up. This will be an easy fix. The days of the months need to be located right there. So let me go ahead and fill back in our days right here with the same formula I used earlier. And we want to go to 31 since the maximum number of days in the month is 31. So that was a quick fix, thankfully. So let's go ahead and jump back over here. Now we have an area for our monthly total. And if we come right here, we want to add the year and insert 2021 beside monthly total. And I'm going to actually have to come right here and add 1 through 12 beside our months. And what this is going to do is it's actually going to allow our formula to know exactly what month it's looking for. So we're going to have to refer back to those numbers when we make our formula right here. And you can see I just went ahead and pasted it in. It's another SUMIF formula, and what it's doing is it's essentially searching for that day of the month that we traded and searching to see if we traded on that day, and if we did, what was our total for that day. And you can, again, I'll have that posted in the description, and we want to add this formula to all the cells right here. So if I just go ahead and drag it all the way across and then fill it in across the entire thing, you can see exactly how much we made trading on each day of the month. And this is a great way to be able to better visualize what days we've traded, what days we haven't traded, what days we've done well trading on, and what days we haven't done well trading on. So let's go ahead and come over here to our monthly total area. This will be an easy sum formula, so we just want to select all the days in that month and sum them together. And I'm going to hit enter, and you're going to see it's going to likely suggest to autofill everything else for us. So now we have the total amount we've made in each month now. And I'm going to go ahead and center that text, so now we can see what months we've performed well trading on. Now I'm going to come up above here and sum all the values from the month. Now we can see the total amount we have made in the past year from day trading. And I'm going to go ahead and center this text just like I have been. If I come here, I'm going to make it in the center of the cell. And okay, so now we have our trades placed, our daily profit, and our days of the month area. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually add some conditional formatting. So we want all of these numbers right here to show up green if they were a positive trade, but we want them to show up red if they were a negative trade. So conditional formatting provides the ability to do that. You can see right there what I did. If you need to, go ahead and rewind the video and watch. But now what I've done is I've made it to where it'll automatically highlight all the trades where we have had positive trades and red if they've been negative trades. So I'm going to do the same thing with my daily profit. I'm going to highlight this, and let's go ahead and highlight our days of the month area as well and add conditional formatting to that. And I'm going to come up here to format, down here conditional formatting, and we want to say anything greater than 0 shows up green. And then we want to do the same thing and say anything that shows up below 0 to show up red. So you can see now everything is highlighted. This is great for our days of the month area because now we can really see quickly at a glance what days we traded and if we traded well that day or if we made a loss on those days. So this is a really useful tool for our day trading tracker. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight all these cells. And let me go ahead and make sure they are all 2 decimal places, so you can do that right there. And I'm going to do the same thing for this area. And I'm going to do the same thing for this area as well. Now I'm just going to add a $sign. And okay, so that was just a little formatting that I wanted to add on to the spreadsheet. I'm just going to adjust the font size of this right here. And let's go ahead and add conditional formatting to our monthly total area. So just like we just did, we want anything to show up that's above 0 as green and anything that is below 0 to show up red. And now we can quickly see at a glance what months we did well trading. And this will just be an example, but you can even add conditional formatting to things like our win-loss column. So I'll go ahead and show an example of what that would look like. All you would want to do is highlight our win-loss cells, click conditional formatting, but instead of doing greater than or less than, we want to select text contains, and we would just insert the letter W. For text contains W, show up green, and if the text contains the letter L, then we would want it to show up red. So you can really do a whole lot with conditional formatting. If you want to add that to your spreadsheet, that's something you can do, but I think I'll honestly just leave this part off. So I'm just going to go ahead and undo that. And now we want to add another area to our spreadsheet right here. And what we want to see is we want to see our win amount total and our loss amount total. So I'm just going to select these cells here and do some formatting, we want to merge these cells and give it outer borders. And we're going to do the same thing right beside it. So we'll have our win amount total to the left and our loss amount total to the right. And so let me go ahead and title this. And you can see now we have our titles for win amount total and loss amount total. Let me go ahead and center this text. Just some more formatting things that you've already seen how to do. And so for our win amount total, all we want to do is we want to sum all the values that were profitable trades. So if there's a W beside our trade, then that is a trade that we want to add to our win amount total. So we're going to use a SUMIF function right here. And we're going to select this entire cell right here. And we want it to add if there is a W in this column. And again, this will probably be a formula that I post in the description as well. When I hit enter here, you can see now we have the amount of our win amount total. So each trade that we place that was a win, it is going to sum that value. And now the easy thing about our loss amount totals, I'm actually just going to copy and paste that exact same formula over. And all we'll have to trade is, instead of a W right here, is we'll change it to an L. So it'll sum the values if there's an L in that column. And I'm going to hit enter on this. And okay, so now we can see the total amount that we have lost from trading. So let me just go ahead and do some formatting on this cell as well. And I'm just going to make this win amount total green and the loss amount total red. So now we actually want to do something very similar. Right beside this, I want to have an area where I can see what my best trade is and what my worst trade is, and we want to set this to where it'll automatically update if we place our best trade or if we place our worst trade. So I'm going to set up the format the exact same way as the cells to the left of it, and I'm going to title it best trade and worst trade. And okay, so now I'm just going to center this text and increase the font size. Let me see what the font size was over here. And okay. So now we're going to actually use a formula I haven't used in a while. And we want to see the maximum value of all the values in our profit column. And so it's a really easy formula, but it's useful. And so now we can see what my best trade was over this past year, and we set it to where it'll update automatically if we place a better trade. So now we're going to use the minimum value, and we're going to select our entire profit row and come below it so we can add more values, and close this parentheses and hit enter. So those were easy formulas, but now we can quickly see at a glance what our best trade and worst trade was. Let's highlight these cells and increase the font size, and we'll color my best trade green and the worst trade red. So if we zoom out here, we can see that our day trade tracker is really starting to come together. We've got most of the more complicated things in there already. So the only thing left that I actually want to add to this area is an individual trade profitability chart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all these dates here, and then I'm going to select the profit here. And again, I'm going to scroll below so it'll be automated if we add more trades to our tracker. Then we go up there to insert chart, and if we insert this chart here, it actually comes out pretty much exactly how I want it, which is not always the case. But let's just go ahead and drag this over here, and this chart shows us the profitability of each trade that we have placed over the course of the past year. And like I said, since we scroll down below where our text ends, it'll update automatically if we place more trades. So I'm just going to format this to where it fits in nicely. And let's change the title of this to Individual Trade Profitability. And I'm just going to bold this text. Let's make the text black as well. And I'm going to zoom out. So now we can see, other than adding some colors and a few other things, this day trade tracker for this sheet is pretty much finished. So I'm just going to add some color to this real quick. Let me go ahead and highlight the date. And you can pretty much color this in however you want. I'm going to make this yellow. Let's go ahead and select our symbol and add these, make these blue. And I'm going to make this date over here yellow as well. And like I said, you can pretty much color this part in however you want. It's kind of up to your own discretion, but I tend to think that the lighter colors look well, and to use different colors for different areas to help you be able to better visualize what's going on. So I try to stay consistent with what colors I use for what different things. But you can see just adding a little bit of color quickly adds a lot of value to the way that your tracker looks and helps you organize things better. And now I'm just going to edit the way that the chart is colored. So if you double click on it, it'll give you that option. So you color it in just a little bit different. But you can see here, even the chart looks a lot better just by adding a little bit of color. So now I'm going to come down here and we're actually going to add the second part of the spreadsheet. And this won't take as long, but we want to add a dashboard to our day trading tracker. So this will be a great way to visualize and quickly see at a glance how we've been performing. So I'm going to add a header right here. So just like I have been, I'm going to merge the cells, give it an outer border, and I'm going to title this day trading dashboard. And I'm going to do things like increase the font size and center the text to make it look nice. And okay, so the very first thing that I want to see is I want to see what my total profit is. So I'm going to make an area right here to allow me to see what my total profit is. So we just got to go through a little bit of formatting stuff again. And we'll come right below this and make the area where we're actually going to see what our total profit is. And for our entire dashboard, we want this to be automated to update automatically. So we are going to use the data based off of our first sheet to make our total profit. So if we come over here, we want our total profit to be equal to our 12-month total. And if we hit enter on that, now we have our total profit that will update automatically based off of each of the day trades that we place. Okay, so now the next thing that I want to see is I want to see my average profit per trade. So I'm going to go ahead and format this the same way that I did just for the one to the left of it. And I'm going to title it average profit per trade and go through the formatting stage. Let me go ahead and resize this font here. We'll merge the cells and give it an outer border. And for our average profit per trade, we want to do equals average. And we just want to select the profit column on all of our trades, so it will automatically average all of these trades, and hit enter. And now you can see we have our average profit per trade, which will update automatically when we place new trades as well. And for this part of the dashboard, I want to see not my average profit per trade, but my average profit per day. So this will vary slightly based on how many trades we placed on an individual day. So for example, if we placed 3 trades in one day, then our average daily profit will differ slightly. So if you've thought about how to make a formula to do this one, it'll actually be very similar. We're going to use the same kind of formula. We're going to do equals average, but instead of taking our trades placed profit, we want our daily profit. And we're going to select these cells right here and go even farther than the data that we have, so it will update automatically when we place new trades. And we're going to go ahead and center this text as well. So now we have a place for our total profit, our average profit per trade, and our average profit per day. So I'm going to want to add 3 more things below this to see at a glance before we add our charts. The first thing I want to see is my wins. Then I also want to see my losses beside it. So let's go ahead and make the area for our wins. And we'll go through the formatting and center this text and increase the font size. And for this, we want to be able to count how many W's there are on our sheet 1, but we only want it to count if it's a W. We don't want it to count if it's an L. So we want to use the COUNTIF function and select all these cells here. We'll come farther below it so it'll update automatically. And we only want it to count this cell if there is a W. So I'll put a W right here, close the parentheses, and hit enter. And so now we can see the total amount of wins that we have. So you can see we've placed 33 successful trades, and I want to do the same thing for losses. So I want to see how many trades I've placed that have not been successful. So again, we'll format it the same way. Give it a title, give it an outer border after we merge the cells, and center the text as well as increase the font size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of cheat. I'm just going to copy and paste this formula we just used over to the losses. And instead of having a W here, I'm just going to go ahead and change it to an L. So it'll count any column that has an L in it. And let's increase this font size. And so now we can see how many losses that we have. So 33 wins and 15 losses. And the last thing I want to see here is my win percentage. So I want to know what percent of my trades that have been successful. And we'll come here and merge these cells and give it an outer border. And for my win percentage, there's actually kind of an easy way to work around this. We can just use the data based off of our wins and losses. And we want to divide our wins by our total amount of wins and losses. So our wins divided by how many trades we've placed, and hit enter. And we'll center this text and increase the font size. And this looks good, but we want to make this a percentage. So we'll come over here and change it to percent, and you can see that we currently have a 68.75% win percentage on all of our day trades. So now we're going to make our first chart. And to do this, I want to see a monthly total chart. So I'm going to highlight the months right here on page 1 and our monthly total and insert the chart. And this comes out as a bar chart, which is actually the way that I want it. So let's come back and we'll copy and paste this chart over to our day trading dashboard. And we will bring it right below our other metrics here. And I'm going to go ahead and expand it a little bit and make it line up with the metrics above it. And let's go ahead and come here and give it a title. If you double click on it, you can bring that up right here. And we will title this our monthly gain. So this is just a good way to visualize how we've been performing over each different month of the year. And if we zoom out, we can see it's starting to come together. We need to add a few more things before we're done. Let's come back over to our sheet 1 and delete this. We don't need this chart anymore. And we want to make a chart based off of our win amount total and our loss amount total. So I'm going to come up here to insert, and we're going to add a chart. This is not the way I want the chart to look. We're going to come here and we want a stacked column chart. And this is the chart that I want. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this and bring it back over to my dashboard page. And we will paste it in right here. And we're going to line it up to where it's to the right of everything. And so now we can see the total amount that we have made based off of all our trades. So we can see the amount we've made versus the amount that we have lost. So I'm going to actually just do a little formatting and bring some of these cells closer together. So this is a more compact dashboard. And let me go ahead and reformat this chart. Then I will bring this chart over just a little bit. So now I have two more charts that I'm going to want to see. And I want to bring two charts below this, and I want to see my win percentage for the first chart. So to do this, I'm just going to select my wins and my losses right here and click Insert. And this is not the way that I want this to show up. I want to select this donut chart, but I need to select to switch rows and columns for it to show up correctly. So now I can see as a visualization the percent of trades that I have won versus the amount of trades that I have lost. And let me go ahead and bring this just a little bit to the left, and we're going to go ahead and add a title to this chart as well. And I'm just going to go ahead and title this win percentage. And we want to make this title easy to see, so I'm going to make the font black and bold it out. And the very last chart that I want to see is I want to see my days traded profit. So we're going to come back over here and delete this chart. We don't need it anymore. And we will come over to our daily profit area, and we're going to select this entire column, and then we want to select the daily profit from this column right here. And we want to select the entire column so that it'll update automatically as we place new trades. And we'll come to chart, and this is actually the way that I want the chart to show up. So we're just going to go ahead and copy and paste this over. And we will format this to where it looks nice. And I'm going to go ahead and edit this title as well. And I want the title to say Days Traded Profit. So this is a great way to see, just at a quick glance, what days we've traded well and what days we haven't traded well, and it's just going to show us some of the outliers as well. It's also going to help us to visualize if we are a consistent trader or if maybe we are not so consistent and we have more losses than we want. So just like I did for the other titles, I'm going to make the font black and bold that text. And if we zoom out here, our day trading dashboard is actually finished. All we need to do now is add some color to it. And again, this is kind of up to your own discretion, how you want to color it in. You can see here how I do it. Like I said earlier, I think the lighter colors tend to look better. If you want, you can add conditional formatting to things like these columns here: total profit, average profit per trade, and average profit per day. And you can have it show up how you want. You could say maybe if I'm averaging over $20 per trade, it shows up green. Or you could just say, you know, if I'm averaging more than $0 per trade, then it shows up green. It's kind of up to your own discretion how you set this up. I'm going to set it to where if it's above $0, then it'll show up as green. For my win, I'm just going to go ahead and make this green, and my losses box, I'll go ahead and make it red. And for my win percentage, I'm just going to go ahead and make this a different shade of green as well. For the charts, to color in a chart, you're going to want to double click on it and go to chart style. And there it's going to give you some options for how to color in your charts. So I'm just going to play around with it, and you can see some of the different options that you have. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've jumped forward, and you can see here I've gone ahead and colored everything in for us. So this is what the finished product of the day trading dashboard looks like, and it's important to remember that all of the data that is on this day trading dashboard will update automatically based off what we put on the recording tab. So let's go ahead and jump over to our recording tab. We can see this is what the finished product looks like once everything is colored in. And let's go ahead and test out our day trading tracker and make sure everything is working properly. So let's place an example trade. So I'm going to zoom in and scroll down, and let's say that we place a trade on December 20th of 2021 and we trade Apple. Let's say I buy in at $120 per share and sell at $142 per share. Let's say I bought 13 shares. I'll hit enter, and you can see the profit automatically fills in from the trade, and whether it's a win or loss automatically fills in. And let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit, and we can see on our daily profit the day we just traded is showing up, and it's showing the correct value for that day. And if we come over here, we can see our win amount total updated since that was considered a win. And we can see our best trade actually updated since that would have been considered our best trade since we made $286 on the trade. And we traded on December 20th, so let's come over here and see if it's showing up. And we can see right here it is showing up with the correct conditional formatting. So this is a great way to see what days we've traded, what days we've made money and lost money. Let's check our chart, and we can definitely see that this day is showing up as it's right here. It's a huge outlier, clearly showing it's our best day trading. So let's check our dashboard as well and make sure everything there updated properly. And okay, I can just see quickly at a glance that everything did work properly because we can see our wins went up, our win percentage went up, all of these metrics here went up. Our total profit, our average profit per trade, and average profit per day all went up. We can see that the amount we gained went up, and our monthly gain clearly went up as December spiked up to our most profitable month. We can see our win percentage chart is working correctly, and our days traded profit is here as well because we can see right here our very profitable day that we just had. So everything seems to be working properly on our day trading tracker, which means that we are officially done with this tutorial. If you want to have the ability to download this spreadsheet or any of the other spreadsheets that I've made in Google Sheets, then you can head over to my Patreon page at the link in the description. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching the video, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.